Hey, so this week, this is video 3 of the middle. Is this where you want to be? We're going to be looking at benchmarking data standards and discussing the psychology of the middle. So let's get to it. Okay, this is the psychology of being in the middle. And where do you want to be? Being aware of heuristics and how this affects our employees. So benefits offer a solution to impact employees, but many struggle to understand their options. So as we said in video 1, employees already see benefits as a very important part to their compensation, with about 2/3 reporting that their benefits packages make them more productive, more likely to stay with an organization, more likely to recommend organizations to friends. So let's talk about decision fatigue, analysis paralysis. I especially see this in my engineers. So let's all be empathetic for people like me who overthink everything. So what is decision fatigue? Decision fatigue describes how our decision making gets worse as we make additional choices and our cognitive abilities get worn out. Decision fatigue is the reason we feel overwhelmed when we have too many choices to make. So there are groups out there that are offering 20 different medical plans for their employees. This is all with wonderfully good intention. However, the employees need help. They need our help to narrow some of this stuff down. And if we're not going to be narrowing it down, we at least need to offer them a wide array of resources to help them feel educated when they're making this decision. So this nice little chart here, I really like this simple chart that shows decision fatigue, the decision quality, and the quantity of decisions. So the lesser the number of decisions, the higher the quality of the decision. Individual effects. Let's move me over here. Decision fatigue creates the quality of our decisions to decline as we become mentally exhausted. Decision fatigue causes us to make poor decisions because as we reach mental exhaustion, our brains like illogical shortcuts to aid us in our decision making. These shortcuts result in less deliberate decisions. Another shortcut involves procrastination. So no decision, indecision. This is when, and HR knows this, you get most of your applications right before the deadline. Because employees are overwhelmed, they don't want to make the decision. Systemic effects. On a large scale, decision fatigue could impact decision-making at a high level and affect the choices taken by company executives, academic leaders, and politicians. Globally, we regularly make choices and decisions that can impact the world. Systemically, it is hard to address decision fatigue as mental fatigue occurs for all of us. Creative responses to tackle issues like decision fatigue and prevent burnout have included proposals for shorter work days or a 4-day work week, as done in New Zealand. Okay, so let's get into some surveys here. So more than 9 in 10 employers are looking to enhance their employee experience as a top priority post-pandemic. We're seeing more and more employers really driving towards online systems and making those systems accessible year-round for their employees and streamlining those enrollment processes. How much do you expect hourly wages to increase or decrease in your company in 2022? 2022 hourly wages, 3% of businesses, and this is, I believe, from the Wisconsin data that I gathered, increased 0 to 2%, 11% said 2% to 3%, 1 in 4 said 3 to 3.5%, 1 in 4 said 3.5 to 4%, about 1/3 said they're going to increase by at least 4% or more, and 3% said they're staying the same. So that big chunk in the middle there which is more than 90% of the employers are going to increase their hourly wages by 2 to 4% or more. In the next 6 months, do you anticipate the number of employees to increase, decrease, or no change? 30% said no change, 2% said decrease, and 68% said they're going to increase. How will the US economy perform over the next 6 months? 6% said good growth, 54% said moderate, 28% said remain flat, and 14% said it will decline. So once again, when we're given 3 options, we don't pick the most expensive, we don't pick the least expensive, we pick the one right in the middle. So we need to look at what are our values as a company. What are we really driving after? Are we looking to expand? Are we doing a merger and acquisition? Are we shutting down a factory? Are we consolidating? Are we driving towards key employees? What are the goals of the organization and what are the values of the organization? And oftentimes what we'll see is companies that are pushing forward and being very innovative and thriving in these times are going above and beyond to offer benefits to their employees in a concise manner, and also offering above average benefits. So knowing this, how do we choose the best options for our employees? One suggestion is to, if you're offering 6 options, look at offering 3, or if you're offering 10, look at that cutting it down to 7 or 5, or maybe even 3. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of looking at all of the options and really taking the time to make sure that you are addressing what most of your employees are going to be needing, and making sure that you're offering supplemental benefits that could make up some of the differences. So a lot of this information that we're going to be going over, you'll see it shows that having more than 3 options is more likely to produce feelings of overwhelm, confusion, and lack of understanding. Simplifying the process and the options lead to happier employees and HR. We want to keep HR happy. In the next 6 months, what will your business experience? 21% said good growth, 53% moderate growth, 23% said flat, and 2% said they will decline. How will the Wisconsin economy perform over the next 6 months? Now, again, this is not to pick on Wisconsin. I just really liked this report. I thought it was very comprehensive. I liked the way they did it. I liked the way they, their survey questions. I thought they did a brilliant job. And it is a little bit anecdotal, but it is, I believe, a great representation of many other states and how employers are thinking. It's a large enough number of employers were surveyed to look at all industries and all sizes. So that's why I really like this, and that's why we're looking at it together. How will the economy perform? 7% said good growth, 58% said moderate growth, 33% remain flat, and 3% decline. This is a different survey. A total of 1,550 employers represented 9.45 million employees around the world participated in the 2021 Employee Experience Survey. The survey was conducted between March 29th and April 23rd. These are the different industries that were represented. The highest number represented was manufacturing. And we will look at that survey here in a moment, and I just want to touch on creating stickiness with your employees. So we have heard to create stickiness with our customers and our clients. We need to focus on creating stickiness with our employees and loyalty, and taking a moment to picture what would our businesses look like if we had less turnover, if we had loyal employees that were passionate about the business. What would happen if we had healthier employees? yes, it may cost more to really refine these processes and spend money on systems to make enrollment easier. It may cost a little more to improve or add dental or vision or whatever you're looking to add. But in the long run, if you have, as a result, a happier, loyal employee population, what would that do for your business? So more than 9 in 10 employers, 92% indicated that enhancing the employee experience will be a priority over the next 3 years, while 52% said enhancing the employee experience was a priority to their organization before the pandemic. So before the pandemic was 52%. Today it's 92%. The pandemic created an acute stress test for the employee experience as organizations took rapid actions. 56% of employees worked fully remote or in a hybrid model, up to 9%, only 9% 3 years ago. Nearly half of the organizations, 46%, cut people or hours. Over 4 in 10, 44%, restructured. 36% did organization-wide restructuring. Roughly 2/5, 39%, cut pay or benefits. In some cases, employers took action to preserve their business. In other cases, they were looking to capture growth opportunities. Regardless of the objective, the extent of these actions over such a short period of time exerted a significant toll on employees and organizations. When asked about the impact of the pandemic and related actions, 52% said it hurt financially. 43% reported a negative impact on employee experience. 35% experienced a decline in employee productivity. 37% said it negatively shifted organizational culture. 40% reported a negative impact on employee engagement. 50% said it had a negative impact on employee well-being. These are some big, big numbers. It is go time. Only 1 in 10 organizations have a transformative employee experience. So employers want this. Employers want a transformative experience for their employees. They just don't know. Doesn't look like they know how to get there. Because only 1 in 10 organizations have a transformative experience, which is required to deliver a high performance to achieve better business and better people outcomes. So 26% are undefined. I believe that most people want this, but again, it's undefined. Yeah, it sounds great. I want to, on a survey, get a question, are you looking to improve your employee experience? Yes, right? That's a little bit of leading the witness, in my opinion, on these surveys. But yes, the employers want to improve their employee experience, but when asked how are you defining that, they said, we don't know how. We don't know how. We didn't define it. 1 in 4. 35%, 1 in 3 basic employee experience. They have defined standalone employee experience strategy, not aligned to business strategy, have ambitions to use technology, but are not currently doing so. So they like the idea of using technology to improve the employee experience, but again, maybe they just don't know how. 30% emerging. So they have a employee experience strategy that aligns to their business strategy. They use technology for the business strategy, but not specifically to fuel the employee experience. 9% have transformative employee experience, have an employee experience strategy that's integrated with the business strategy, and use technology to fundamentally transform the employee experience. Lovely. So this is the Willis Towers Watson survey. So I have a link to that as well. If you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to provide you with any of these reports. Model identifies the performance area critical to the employee experience. Organizations that excel in these areas outperform their peers in top line growth, bottom line profitability, and return to shareholders. Transformative employee experience organizations are more likely to report major strengths in their scores of excellence across all purposes, work, total rewards, and people. So excellent is inspiration, drive, growth, and trust. Their emphasis is inclusion, voice, capability, collaboration, and essentials are understanding, organization, security, and support. 7% difference in a 3-year change in gross profit margin for employers that achieve excellent level employee experience. So the higher they scored on this chart, the more likely they were to see profit margin increase, which is super interesting. Transformative employee experience organizations are more likely to experience a net profit impact. So 40% employee experience improvement, 41% organizational culture, 35% employee engagement increase, an increase of 28% in employee well-being, and they are more likely to report 2.7 times significantly higher productivity than their peers. 90% more likely to report lower annual turnover, right? So that's going to conclude for today. I'm going to have another video tomorrow and a final one on Friday, concluding this series about do you want to be in the middle and the psychology of the middle. If you have any questions, if you want copies of any of these reports, I have links down below to get a hold of me. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I look forward to hearing from you.